Good morning, students. We begin today with the supplementary readers chapter number 6, The Fight. Now, this story is about a boy named Ranji. He discovers a pool in the forest. It's summertime, and then a typical boyish attitude. He claims that that place is his, and he wouldn't allow any intruder over there. So he gets into a fight with another boy, and the fight becomes ugly, where the egos of both the boys clash, and they get into a physical fight also. Who wins at the end, and who claims the ownership of the pool in the forest? Let's see by reading this particular story. I'll be posting the video in 2 parts, so you can see whenever you get leisure time. Ranji discovers a pool in the forest and plunges into for a swim. There is serious trouble between him and someone else over who has a right to the pool. A fight ensues. The first round ends in a draw. So that's the prelude of it. Let's see what happens sequentially. Ranji had been less than a month in Rajpur when he discovered the pool in the forest. It was the height of summer, and his school had not yet opened, and having as yet made no friends in this semi-hill station, he wandered about a good deal by himself into the hills and forests that stretch away interminably on all the sides of the town. So when you go to visit places where there is a lot of forest cover, you tend to go for walks and explore the places. You don't need friends over here to enjoy with. You can go for walks and explore places in the forest over there. So that's what he was doing. The word interminably means endlessly. It was hot, very hot, and at that time of the year, and Ranji walked about in his vest and shorts, his brown feet white with the chalky dust that flew up from the ground. So that must be that's the physical environment which is being described over here, because it is hot. The soil is also dry, so when he walks barefoot, his brown color skin has turned white, and then he's roaming around in his vests and shorts because it's very, very hot. The earth was parched here. The meanings have been given at the bottom of the page. Hot and dry. So the earth was parched, grass brown, the trees listless, hardly stirring, waiting for a cool wind or a refreshing shower of rain. So there was no sign of water on the soil because it was summer. The grass was brown because it couldn't receive any water, and the trees were listless. That means they weren't moving at all, and they have shed a few had shed their leaves, and they weren't even moving because there was not even a gust of wind. It was on such a day, a hot, tired day, that Ranji found the pool in the forest. The water had a gentle translucency, and you could see the smooth round pebbles at the bottom of the pool. Now, when nobody touches the water of any area where it is locked, so you can see through the water and see what is on the bottom of the pool. So translucency over here means the clarity or possibility of you being allowed to see through what is there and down. So you saw pebbles over there at the bottom of the pool. A small stream emerged from a cluster of rocks to feed the pool. So the water source of this pool was a small stream which came out through pebbles and then fed the pool. Fed the pool over means filled in water in the pool. During the monsoon, this stream would be a gushing torrent, cascading down from the hills, but during the summer it was barely a trickle. So monsoon is rainy season. At that time, this particular stream wouldn't be a stream anymore. It would be a rushing gush of water over there, and then it would come down, cascading over there, means coming down like a waterfall because with great force of water. So, but in the summers, because of the less supply of water, because then this particular cascading kind of a stream would be weak or thin, a trickle of water, just a small flow of water here and there, just enough to fill in the pool. The rocks, however, held the water in the pool, and it did not dry up like the pools in the plains. Because there was continuous supply of water, this particular pool did not dry. When Ranji saw the pool, he did not hesitate to get into it. He had often gone swimming along with or with his friends, alone or along with his friends, when he had lived with his parents in a thirsty town in the middle of Rajputana desert. So he knew what was it, how to go, what did it feel to go and swim, because he had many a time swam alone as well as with his friends, because he used to stay in the middle of a desert over there. The name of it was Rajputana. There he had known only sticky, muddy pools where buffaloes wallowed and women washed clothes. So buffaloes go and rest to cut off the heat. They go and rest in the water that makes it very muddy, and the women used to wash clothes. That kind of a pool he was acquainted with. He knew that this was, but this kind of a pool for him, fresh water, amused him. He had never seen a pool like this, so clean and cold and inviting. What was inviting? It was actually, he was feeling like going and taking a plunge into it. He leapt into the water. His limbs were supple, free of any fat, and his dark body glistened in patches of sunlit water. Now, supple over here means, I would say, very moldable, like flexible. He had a flexible body. He just jumped into it. He was not that fat. He was lean, and when he was dark complexion. So when he jumped into the water, so with the reflection of it, anybody who would see him would feel that his body's color, the color of his skin was shining. The next day he came to quench his body in the cool waters of the forest pool. Quenching means actually cooling down your body. So he came down over there the next day also to go and take a dip in the pool. He was there for almost an hour, sliding in and out of the limpid green water, uh, or lying stretched out on the smooth yellow rocks in the shade of broad-leaved sal trees. Sal trees are most commonly found in the tropical areas over here. So this was like, the water was not truly green, but the reflection of the trees made it look like that. And he was lying over there stretched out on the yellow rocks under the shade of the sal trees. It was while he lay thus that he noticed another boy standing a little distance away, staring at him in a rather hostile manner. Now, over here, hostile means he was not looking friendly at all. So he had that animosity kind of a look in his eye, saying, threatening kind of a thing, what are you doing here? The other boy was a little older than Ranji, taller, thick-set, and with a broad nose and thick red lips. So if you compare the physical stature of these two boys, the other boy was much more healthier, and strength wise also he was more, he had more strength when compared to Ranji. He had only just noticed Ranji, and when Ranji did not say anything, the other called out, "What are you doing here, mister?" Ranji, who was prepared to be friendly, was taken aback at the hostility of the other's tone. So he was taken aback, saying he thought might be he wants to be friends. But to his horror, this fellow was literally shouting at him. "I'm swimming," he replied. "Why don't you join me?" "I always swim alone," said the other. "This is my pool. I did not invite you here." The stranger strode up to Ranji, who still sat on the rock, and planting his broad feet firmly on the sand, said, as though this would settle the matter once and for all, "Don't you know I am a warrior? I do not take replies from villagers like you." So the stranger was coming close. Stride is moving forward. The word strode is the past tense of it. So he was coming close to Ranji, where Ranji, being not having that much of strength when compared to the other boy, stood up on his feet firmly, and you know what got into his mind, and he passed this comment saying, "Don't you know I'm a warrior?" Herein actually inviting for trouble, saying that I'm ready for a fight. And he says, I don't take any kind of a reply from villagers like you. "So you like to fight with villagers?" said Ranji. "Well, I am not a villager, I am a fighter." Here comes a tussle of words First, the fight starts with words. Here, both are having a conversation, a heated up conversation. In fact, I am a warrior, I am a fighter. So both are going on and on over here. Not, not even one taking a step back, saying that I give up, or the other one is ready to fight as well. They had reached an impasse. Over here, impasse means a situation where no solution can be taken out. So it's a deadlock kind of a thing where not one of them is ready to listen. One had said he was a warrior, the other had proclaimed himself a fighter. There was little ease that could be said. You understand that I am a warrior, said the stranger, feeling that perhaps this information had not penetrated Ranji's head. So he was going on saying the stranger the same words, thinking that repetition would make it sure that he means what he says and he's not going to give up. I heard you say it 3 times, said, replied Ranji. Then why are you not running away? I am waiting for you to run away. I will have to beat you, said the stranger, assuming a violent attitude, showing Ranji the palm of his hand. So he says, like, now that you're not listening to me, I'm going on warning you, I will have to hit you. I'm waiting to see you do it, said Ranji. He didn't even care that that fellow was much more stronger when compared to him. You'll see me do it, said the other boy. Ranji waited. The other boy made a strange hissing sound. Boys are typically boys. They would get into a fight and do all sorts of things to satisfy their ego. They stared at each other in the eye for almost a minute. Then the warrior slapped Ranji across the face with all the force he could muster. Whatever he could gather, that much of strength, he just let his hand loose and gave a slap on Ranji's face. Ranji staggered. So, like, he literally, if somebody hits you so badly on your face, you will be shaken a bit, feeling quite dizzy. So that slap made him feel dizzy, a little bit off, like balance over there. There were thick red finger marks on his cheek that badly had hit him. There you are, exclaimed his assailant. Assailant is the person who attacks, okay? So he says now he's boasting up because he was the person who hit him. So he says, there you are, I told you I would hit you. Will you be off now? For answer, Ranji swung his arm up and pushed a hard bony fist into the other person's face. That one gave, first one the stranger gave him a slap. This one gave him one punch back with his bony fingers. And then they were at each other's throats, swaying on the rock, tumbling onto the sand, rolling over and over, their legs and arms locked in a desperate, violent struggle. So totally murky fight they got into, and they were literally physically assaulting each other over there. Gasping and cursing, clawing and slapping, they rolled into the shallows of the pool. So the environment also, the physical environment also couldn't stop them. They were rolling all over the place. They were hitting each other. They were clawing each other. They were scratching each other. Even in the water, the fight continued as, spluttering and covered with mud, they groped for each other's head and throat. Now, groping is having a tight hold on something. So they were like splashing the water here and there. The entire water became muddy, but that wouldn't stop them at all. But after 5 minutes of frenzied, unscientific struggle, neither boy had emerged victorious. They both were not ready to move back, to take a step back and say, I accept defeat. So there was this fight ended with no result at all. The bodies had heaving with exhaustion over here, like they were totally filled with exhaustion. Not even one of them had that much of courage or strength left to fight back. They stood back from each other, making tremendous efforts to speak. Actually, when you get into a physical assault, you run out of air also to breathe. You start panting, and then is when they thought, let's stop and at least speak out what is to be done next. Now do you realize I'm a warrior? Gasped the stranger. So he was gasping it for air, but still he was saying what he had told earlier also. Do you know I'm a fighter? Said Raji with difficulty. Both know that they don't have the courage to fight back anymore, but still they are going on with now. They had a physical assault. Now that there comes a verbal one. They gave a moment's consideration to each other's answers, and in that moment of silence, there was only their heavy breathing and the rapid beating of their hearts. So they were allowing actually themselves to cool down a little bit because of the fight. Their bodies are heated up a lot. Then you will not leave the pool, said the warrior. I will not leave it, said Ranji. Then we shall have to continue the fight, said the other. All right, said Ranji. But neither boy moved, neither took the initiative. The warrior had an inspiration. We'll continue the fight tomorrow, he said. If you dare come here again tomorrow, we'll continue this fight. I will not show you mercy as I have done today. Here comes the ego, where they will not agree that they are running out of strength to fight against each other. But the stranger says that if you agree to come back over here tomorrow, if I see you here again tomorrow, I will not leave you as I have shown you, as I've shown mercy on you today. Tomorrow there is no chance. Wherein the reality was, he himself did not have that much of strength left to finish the fight then and there. But he wouldn't agree. I will come tomorrow, said Ranji. I will be ready for you. They turned up from each other then, going to the respective rocks, put on their clothes and left the forest by different routes. So the first day of the fight had come to an end. The verbal accuses, the verbal acquisitions, the physical assault, everything had come to an end. Neither of them had accepted defeat. So the next lecture I will tell you about what happened later.